Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is Dejan Wilmore. Dejan, welcome to the neighborhood, my man.
Nice to meet you.
KW, Washington Township in the house. We got a Sterling High School reunion in there. I wanted to have you come on, and I reached out to you before because you're a grinder, and I really dig that. Like, that's my old school. I love people that grind. I love people that door knock, that cold call, that do a bunch of stuff. So before we talk about your actual career right now, where did that grinder mentality come from? Like, talk a little bit about your high school days and your pre-real estate career. How did you develop that mentality?
I mean, that's definitely a great question. Wow. So I can really just go. Just go, you know. All right, yeah. So, I mean, where I developed that mentality is, just coming from nothing, to be quite honest with you. You know, where I come from, grew up in Millville, New Jersey. And, everyone around me always worked hard.
Yeah.
My mother, grew up in a household. She raised 3 kids. So always seeing her grinding and working hard and quite frankly struggling, So it always put like a fuel into me because I wanted to pretty much get her out of our situation.
Yeah.
So that helped me, develop, like put that fuel into me. You know what I'm saying? So
what about grandparents?
Same way with the grandparents.
Yeah, my grandpa, I talked about it a couple times. My grandpa was the hardest working man I ever met in my life. My grandpa had 2 full-time jobs and worked at the stadiums on the weekends selling vending. You know what I mean? He had a bunch of kids, but he worked. You know what I mean? Like worked, and then worked. His vacation was working a lighter second job. You know what I mean? Yeah,
and sometimes, we definitely work so hard, we forget about our personal life, right? We become accustomed to it, and it puts us in that survival mode, and that's all we know.
Yeah.
So I think that's where a lot of that burning desire come from, right? But now that I'm older, going to more years into my career, I'm learning how to balance it out.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
It's tough. Yeah.
It's tough, especially in this environment.
Absolutely.
You're not a W-2 employee, you're not a 9-to-5 dude, and your nature is a hustler. So when you have no ceiling, but you're a hustler, sometimes you could work 80 hours a week and crush it. It's hard to turn it off. For me, it's been hard to turn it off some nights when it's like I got 3 people I need to pre-qual, or I can go hang out with the kids. And half the time the kids win, and half the time the pre-quals win.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I feel like that's where I'm at now. Right, all my life, I've been in this survival mode. Just grinding it out. So now, when I take a step back, look at my business, look at my life, what type of life that I want to design, I got to treat my business, real estate as a business, right? So what that means is, how would a business owner think? You look at it like, all right, I can operate out of survival, right? Fear, or vision. So I had to take a look back and say, okay, what category did I fall in? And that was survival. That was me grinding it out, doing what I got to do to make ends meet. But when we're in survival mode, we only think about a paycheck, right? Just to pay our bills.
Yeah.
So I looked at it, I said, okay, I have a vision. I have dreams, aspiration, goals. And those are not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, and you started to also take care of yourself better physically, which is always, in my experience, the toughest thing to do when you're grinding.
Yeah.
When you're grinding, it's way easier to stop at McDonald's or to stop on the way home and get some total crap to throw in your mouth than it is to meal prep.
Yeah.
Or, it's way easier to bang the phone for 45 minutes than it is to go into the gym and swing the ropes and crush it, But it's hard to know that if you don't take care of you,
Yes.
all the rest of it falls apart, you know?
Exactly, and it's more so of, you just got to focus on yourself. You love yourself enough, focus on yourself. Everything else that you want in life is just going to show up.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, that's a journey itself. That definitely takes practice, commitment, determination, things like that for the most part. But, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's definitely amazing.
All right, so how did you walk down that path and wind up in real estate? Like, was there some crazy thing that happened? Because I use the same horrible joke every time. No one puts their hand up in second grade and says, I want to be a real estate agent. It's always, I want to be a doctor, a firefighter, whatever. And somehow, some way, you wind up selling real estate.
That's a great question. So it wasn't like that for me. But what I can say, when I was younger, my mother paying rent, I used to see the landlord stop by, collect rent. And that interested me. I was like, wow, this guy come by, just collect money. This is his house. We got to take care of it. So at the time, I probably didn't know, like, oh, this is real estate. But I'm like, he a landlord.
The concept turned you on. Yeah. For sure.
So, I always knew, like, my teens, I'm like, I really can't, like, work for no one. I had to do it, but
Right.
I already knew that I was, like, cut out to be, like, an entrepreneur, running a business. So, to answer your question, as I started, working different jobs, like factory jobs, all hard work labor.
Yeah.
That's, like, my background.
Hard
work labor. So one day I was just literally, and I share this story with a lot of people. I was just sitting it was me and my friend, we were just hanging out, sitting on the couch. And I was just like, man, I need to find something where, I could just make some money, just supplement my income. I was working at a factory. At this time, I was getting paid like $2,000 a month.
Right.
Driving to Violent every single day from Summerdale.
And really working.
Hard. Like,
humping it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sweating, drenched. I was like, I need something where I can make a little bit of additional income. And I looked into wholesaling. And, I didn't wholesale any deals at the time, but I was just getting my feet wet. And I saw an ad pop up. It was real estate. So, where I come from, I was just like, oh, it's probably so much to get into real estate. You probably need all these certificates and license. So I was like, okay, I looked into the requirements and I was like, oh, this is actually easy.
Yeah. You already do fit the requirements, right?
Yes,
Except the 80 hours class,
So I was a little discouraged, to be honest, at the time. So my friend, I said, hey, you should sign up for real estate. I said, I'm going to focus on wholesaling. You sign up for real estate and, we can make some money. So she was like a little hesitant. And I was like, all right, I'll just sign up. I'll sign up, get the information. I can use it for the wholesaling. And I signed up and passed my test and, here I am.
Yeah. And how long ago was that? That was like 3 years ago?
January 28, 2020.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, a little over 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. So it literally, I don't know, it was just that ad popped up for a reason.
For sure.
Because I wasn't just sitting on the couch and like, oh, I want to be a real estate agent.
Right.
And best decision that I ever made, to be honest with you.
Nice. Now, you've done a bunch of transactions. You've dealt with a bunch of people. Do you have like a favorite client that you've closed? You don't have to say their name or anything like that, but like a story. I've had a couple throughout the years where like, one dude I know was in prison for like 15 years and never thought he'd ever own anything and wound up crying at the closing table. And it was just like, I would do this for free. This is why I do it. You know what I mean?
I don't think I ever got asked that question. I got a lot of favorite clients.
Yeah.
I have a lot. And just the experience itself, working with sellers, working with buyers, It's just amazing because every transaction is different. You know, you get different feelings and emotions from different clients, especially if they're going through something, you know, don't have to be serious, but if they're just going through something, whether it's a divorce or, you know, they need to downsize, just knowing that you expedite their delivery into seeing those positive results, like, it's just an amazing feeling for them as well.
You get the experience with them, yeah. Now, do you tend to lean more towards the buyer side or towards the listing side, or it doesn't really matter? You're just a people person.
I do lean more towards the listing side.
Okay.
But I always, like I said, I work with buyers, renters, sellers, whoever. Okay. You know.
And as far as the social media stuff goes, what platforms are you using? Like, are you? Because you're 31, you said, right?
Yep, 31.
So you're a little too young for the Facebook game, although you're on there, you know. But you're like more of the TikTok, Snapchat person than the old head LinkedIn, Facebook crew like me.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I actually have an old soul.
Okay.
So I don't really do TikTok. I have all those, by the way, but I'm more so on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
You know, I want to get into like the paid ads, and I do a lot of you know, videos. Sure.
You put out a bunch of content.
Yeah, a bunch of content. I just like to get my face out there, you know, and get my views up, because the more people see you, you know, they look at you like you staying busy, you're staying productive.
Yeah.
And people want to work with people that's like active and know what they're talking about.
Sure. Do you get business from Facebook? Like, have you gotten leads, and have you gotten stuff from that, or is it more paid ads and other stuff?
So Facebook, my leads are organically.
Okay.
They come in organically. I do run a little bit of ads through Facebook, and I would probably say 25%, 30% of my business is Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's just literally from putting content out and really prospecting. You know, like I will sit there for 2 hours and reach out to people on social media, people that I don't know.
Now, do you do door knocking, open houses, anything like that, or?
So I do open houses quite often, and door knocking, I haven't really got into that heavily, but that's something that I'm, you know, bringing to my business more, because it's about that time. So
yeah. All right, so now we talked about the previous. Let's talk about the future. Give me some things. We're going into the little time machine now. Going to May of 2025. Where are you going to be? Give me some boxes you're going to check off there, some goals you're going to hit along the way, and what we're going to see in the next 2 years from you.
Okay, so the next 2 years, I definitely want to become debt-free.
Okay.
You know, you have good debt and bad debt.
Right.
So I want to be debt-free. Debt-free, yeah.
I take a couple $1 million of good debt. You know what I mean? I take a couple $1 million of mortgages and
absolutely,
100%.
I like to keep it simple, to be honest with you, man. Like 2025, other than paying off debt, hitting my income goals, but I just want to focus on eating healthy, take listings, and go on vacations. You know.
What about growing a team, mentoring some younger agents, anything like that? You see that in your future?
Absolutely. Like I said, I do have a team, the Kings and Queens Realty Group. Right now, I'm in the process of rebuilding. You know, I just want to make sure the foundation is secure. So that way, as, you know, 2024, 2025 roll in, that foundation is solid. You know, and everything else is just flowing.
Nice. All right.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
And also, far as, you know, like, I'm always open to, like, mentoring and, you know, helping out the people that's coming in, or that's just me, you know. I always win my client because I'm very informative and I educate my clients. You know, like, I get a new client, the moment they speak to me, they like, oh yeah, he know what he talking about.
Right.
I tell them so much stuff that they probably don't hear from a lot of, you know, people out there. So when they talk to me, I'm giving them that raw, uncut information.
You're giving them the real.
And they're like, oh yeah, I like that.
Okay.
So
Nice. Nice. All right, we're gonna give you your final personal question. All right.
Okay.
Give you a little challenge here. Okay. You wake up tomorrow morning. The genie comes to your bed and says you can have any musician, musical band, any person throughout history, alive or dead, come to your house on Friday and play 2 songs. Who would the musician or band be, and what would the 2 songs be?
Oh man. The musician, the band, and the 2 songs.
Can be anybody.
Well, I do have one person in mind.
Okay.
I love Alicia Keys.
Okay.
Like she just the music very soulful.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of her songs. Second one, I gotta think about that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it'll definitely be Alicia Keys.
It'd be Alicia Keys on the first one. And what would one song you want to hear from her?
If I Ain't Got You.
Okay.
Some people want it all.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't. You know?
I'm not gonna sing because no one will listen to the show ever again. But I hear you for sure. For sure.
That was a good question. I never thought
Awesome,
about that.
man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Dijon, thank you so much for coming. We'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.